Well, hold on a second. Something's wrong.
No volume.
No volume.
And we're live.
Okay. All right, guys. That was a total fuck up there. I actually downloaded one. Oh, hold on a second. I know what I did wrong. Oh shoot! I fucking everything. This is a Mandela Effect day. Everything's already screwing up. My God. I mean, it's wow. But I downloaded where there was no sound, and I had it through my machine. There is sound. So here's the real intro that actually has a sound. It's a Mandela Effect day. We're allowed to have these weird hiccups like this, but here's the real intro. All right. Isn't it weird,
That's cool.
how music makes a difference with the intro when you play something that has no music?
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's not, it's weird. I mean, it's like that with movies, it's like that with everything. But man, already having a Mandela Effect morning, right? Playing a video without the music, what happened with the music? Did it disappear? Is it another multiverse? Who knows? All
It's in the
right, guys,
multiverse.
welcome everybody. We're talking about a subject that for some people, they think nothing of it. They don't care anything about the Mandela effect. And some of you, this might be the first time that you're actually here having a discussion about not Bigfoot. I'm having a Mandela effect thing here about the Mandela effect. For a lot of you who might be new, technically, what is the Mandela effect? Here, let me share the screen and kind of say where it kind of came from, about what is the Mandela effect before we start. So so let's start with the reason we're all here. Nelson Mandela, who his theory is named after, died in 2013. However, countless people remember him dying in prison in the 1980s. But his death isn't the only example of Mandela effect. We have been wrong about so many dates and all that. Well, the deal is, people. The deal is about Mandela effect. The name now, the phenomena of Mandela effect has always been there. I mean, everybody throughout history has have weird things happen.
Oh yeah.
Different memories of different people. That's never changed. But the name Mandela effect came from a paranormal writer, uh, investigator named Fiona Broome. Boom, Broome, whatever. She's the writer. She's a paranormal investigator. Okay, she writes books. Now, she was apparently at a party and she heard people talking about Nelson Mandela's death. So the story goes that I even made some phone calls behind the scenes and try to talk to some people at the company, and apparently the idea for the name actually came from her editor. Because to sell books, you got to have an angle, right? You got to have an angle. So the name Mandela Effect, the main reason for the name Mandela Effect was really, to be honest with you, is not to say this phenomenon is brand new, because the phenomenon has always been there. It's to sell books. So that's where the name come from. Because some people say that Nelson Mandela died in the 80s, but of course, he died in 2013.
Yeah, because he got out of jail, then became president.
He became president, and of course, he was getting popularity because at the time he became president, you know, he was like almost the first in a long time of his own people being president, where the presidents before him were British people. The people from the UK, the evil empire. You people in the UK, we know you guys are the true evil empire. Come on, What the Flock TV. You guys know you're trying to take over the world so many times. So you know, that's where Nelson Mandela really made his name, as being elected by his people, finally within the election, and of course winning. And of course, you know, there is that famous story of him getting his rugby football team, which they made a movie with Matt Damon. They actually won. Right. They won. And that was rare for Africa. Africa doesn't win a lot of medals. Usually the medals are won by America, China, and Russia. We all know Russians because they all steroids. They're athletes. You know, so that's usually where probably gonna get in trouble, right? They're gonna attack me saying that. But so that's where you know the popularity of Nelson Mandela have, you know, died in 2013. So what is the Mandela effect? It's where you have a memory that's totally different than the people around you for whatever reason. It could be in different topics, you know. For example, you know, I could say, but what if the show was never once called Gypsy Road? I only remember it as Paranormal Highway. But Anthony goes, "No, Eric, your show at one time was called Gypsy Road." I'm like, "No, it wasn't." "Yes, it was."
"Yes, it was."
Boom. Of course it was. But it was. But that's basically what a Mandela effect is, when you know something is real for you, but it's a different memory for other people. Here, let me show you guys the famous examples. I'm just going to show you a share screen of famous examples that anybody who's in the Mandela effect community already knows this. And I know if some of those people are here, they'd be like, "We already know that." So and all that. And I'm going to do a disclaimer real quick. Anybody that has a wrench that's in the chat today, if you see anybody that's mouthing off, calling anybody's names because we're talking about this topic, just get them out, ban them out, because this is, of all communities, this is the community that's more aggressive if your beliefs don't line up with their beliefs. I'm telling you that right now. I'm just giving you guys a fair warning. It's the hardest community that has more gatekeepers than I ever saw in any other community. It's strange. It's supposed to be the most open-minded, because you have to be open-minded for this topic.
Yeah.
But there's some 3 channels that I have up here. I'm going to show you guys, people that I trust. But that's about it. Because there's a lot of bad people that's in that community. Because what happened, it was, I don't know why, about 3 years ago, it seems like there was a flood of extreme conspiracy theorists, not regular conspiracy theorists, because any topic you brought up, UFOs, Bigfoot, everybody likes to use that word conspiracy. But I'm talking about the extremists. And it seems like, for whatever reason, the extremists latched on to the Mandela effect and wanted to make it their own for whatever reason. And they're out there. And I'm not going to tell you names. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to go down that road. So if any of you want to research the Mandela effect, please email me. Ask me, hey, what about this guy? What about this guy? Because I'm telling you right now, you don't want to get in with the wrong crowd, because as soon as you don't agree with them on something, they attack you. Trust me. I know. I have had hit pieces on me from the Mandela effect community, who I try to open up people's minds to listen to it more. It's the weirdest thing, but it is there. So just be careful, people. So here we go. Like, here's top 50. So I know I already see a couple of friends from the Mandela effect community. Jellyhead, Venom. I know you guys already know this, but let's go with for people who've never heard of this before.
I never heard of it, so let's check it out.
So peanut butter. Jiffy versus Jeff. Okay, Jeff, not Jiffy. A lot of people remember it as Jeff. If you buy, fuck, I'm forgetting now. I'm actually having a fuzzy. What is that peanut butter called now?
I think it is Jeff, isn't it?
It is Jeff. So Jeff, not Jiffy. So it's called Jeff. I mean, I haven't, with the price has gone up so crazy, I'm not even able to buy quality peanut butter no more. I got to buy store brands because I can't afford the prices of fucking peanut butter.
$6.
Peanut butter went up $7, $8 in my store for a fucking jar of peanut butter. It used to be $2.20, $3, depending on the brand. It's like, that is a Mandela effect. I wish it was, I wish that was a Mandela effect right there.
Not today.
But then here's some famous ones. Looney Tunes versus Looney Tunes. It's Looney Tunes, not Tunes. Where a lot of people remember growing up watching this cartoon as Tunes. For myself, my memory is actually Tunes. Toons for me. But it's called Looney Tunes. Tunes. Now that's a memory that I have, but I'm not here to say yet. We're going to get into what we think, if it's real.
I remember it was double O. Right?
That?
When we were kids, it was with the double O, right?
Yeah, that's what I remember. But it's always it's always been Tunes.
No way.
It's always been, yeah. So it's never. I know, and that's strange. And so, like I said, guys, we're doing the basics right now. So for you guys heard it, Anthony remembers Tuons. He didn't even know this part. So this is great. This is there's people here, Tunes. I know, and the Tunes, what's weird about that is it doesn't even look right.
No, because you would assume Tunes, tunes like music. I'm assuming tunes, like cartoons, right? Like crazy cartoons, tunes.
Yeah, and what's this? Hold on. Our good friend in the Jessica Rabbit movie, it's Toontown.
Right. That's right.
Jessica Rabbit movie. You mean Jessica Rabbit? Are we talking about
Roger Rabbit?
Roger Rabbit. It is called Roger Rabbit, isn't it?
Yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Okay. I seen Jessica Rabbit. I'm like, don't tell me that. Don't tell me it's always been called Jessica Rabbit. I would have flipped out. Hobbs, our good friend.
What's
Hobbs,
up,
Tunes for me. So that's cool. Now let's go into, like I said, this is a memory boost for everybody. Here we go back. Here.
Look what Ron from Cognate said. He said he just searched vintage posters and it's Tunes, Tunes. He said, I'm shocked. I always thought it was Tunes.
Wow. Yeah. And that's the weird thing. We now, if it's a couple people, you could bring up the word false memory, but then you get to the point where, God, it's like over millions of people with that one memory. How strange is that? The Bearstein Bears versus the Bearstein Bears. Now, first of all, let me tell you guys this for me.
Bernstein and
I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I always believe you have to be honest. There is no Mandela effect for me on this one because, to be honest with you, I never read the books as a kid. Never did. I live in a house with a bunch of guys. The father, they're hunters. Nobody have ever had a Bearstein book in my house, so I can't sit here and tell you what I remember on that because I never had a book, and that's fine. That's fine if you never had the book. But for you, Anthony, have you read the books?
I haven't, but I remember them in the house from when my sister was little, and I thought it was the Bernstein Bears. And
here it's it's Bearstein. Bears didn't exist. So
the second one, not the first, not the not STEIN. I remember it as STAIN.
So you remember it as what it is now?
Yeah, if I'm remembering it correctly.
And I thought I have something that's. Let me see if I have it here. Where is let me. I thought I had a cool clip that I had. Let me see if I still have it.
What's driving me crazy is how everybody in the chat is remembering TOO and not TUNES. That's wild. How we all having the same memory and it's incorrect.
Yeah. And then I thought I had a cool clip, and I wonder, sometimes I wonder, is my memory getting so messed up where I know I had these clips, but somehow these clips disappeared because I had here it is. I do have a clip that I'll show you that how modern TV still talks about the Mandela Effect. And one of my favorite shows of last year is Peacemaker from on HBO Plus. I love the show. I love Peacemaker, and it's cool because the James Gunn. He doesn't talk too much about the Mandela Effect at all, but he is a believer in the phenomenon, and I love it how he plays his stuff in it. And where is it? Here we go. Here's a clip from the Peacemaker show. Oh, get the volume.
Papa Bear.
Here we go.
We've got the Berenstein Bears and the Mercedes. Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Brother Bear, and Sister Bear, all accounted for.
It's Berenstain Bears.
What?
The children's books, it's Berenstain Bears, not Berenstein Bears.
Dude, I grew up on those books. It's Berenstein Bears.
Absolutely not. It's actually named after the creator, Stan and Jan Berenstain.
Does this fucking matter? It's Berenstein.
I don't mean to correct you, sir, but it's
shut up. All right, that's definitely Photoshopped.
No, it's not. It says it right. Berenstain. A-I. Like aim. Berenstain.
So that just came out last year. So they still talk about it. And this is one of the things I hated about the Mandela community is a lot of them shit on that clip because they're saying that it's making fun of it. No. James Gunn is a believer in it. He's the guy that made Slither. He makes the UFO movies, Alien. He's a big believer in all of it. And it was his way of showing that people have this memory, but there are certain people in communities like, no, they're making fun of us. No, he was not making fun of anybody. And
I swear this is all some kind of CIA, NSA op that everybody that was born like in the 1980s and back, they're trying to screw with us. They changed everything on us.
Yeah, it's and all that. So let's go back to that list. Actually, here's it. No, I want to show this. I want to show this one. There's another clip. I actually have I used to have another channel that I don't really talk about. I don't even tell people about it. It's called the Mandela Effect channel, and I don't do a lot of things on it, but sometimes I'll throw over my old clips that I talk about on this show on there. And here's a famous one that's from the TV show X-Files, when they had a big, huge conversation of the Mandela Effect that brought in the word multiverse.
Oh, that's interesting.
So and I love the X-Files, and a lot of people poo-poo on this one too, but I don't know. People shit on everything nowadays. I don't even care what people think anymore. Here we go. This is Mandela Effect or parallel universe in the show X-Files.
Memory creates unlimited power, political, economical, cultural, runs the gamut from Holocaust denial to corporate product recognition. There are companies who are willing to pay anything, do anything to have people forget that their products explode on impact or suddenly catch fire. Companies like G spending billions in profit to repress these memories. The only thing I haven't been able to do is to figure out how they're doing it.
They can't. I'm sorry, but this is ridiculous. I mean, the Mandela effect is simply...
It's the Mandela effect, guys. It's the Mandela effect. Just say it.
Is simply people misremembering stuff.
But maybe this is actually evidence of a parallel universe.
Wait, what?
So maybe these differences in collective memories are actually evidence of our universe somehow becoming intertwined with another, if not identical, then very similar universe. So people's memories are correct. They're just remembering something that happened in another dimension. Hence the discrepancies. That's science.
Theoretical science at best, Mulder.
Yeah, we're not gonna do this parallel universe sci-fi gobbledygook nerd boy. Okay, so just please drop it, because that crap gives me a headache.
It's a lot better than some evil entity zapping people's brains with a hypno ray gun.
I never mentioned a hypno ray gun.
Guys, it's faulty memory because Occam's razor.
That's Ozzy's razor, not Occam's. It's always been Ozzy's razor.
Maybe in a parallel universe it is, but in still yet another universe is perhaps known as Occam's axe.
It's not parallel universes.
Okay, I want to touch on this topic for a second.
It's funny that you just brought that up because just a few minutes ago I was saying this reminds me of our multiverse talk yesterday, and then you brought this up. That's so cool.
Yeah, and that's what when you had a show about multiverse kind of made me thought, maybe it's time to do a show on Mandela Effect again. Now, if you believe it's real, people, and it's up to you, I don't ever try to push any beliefs on anybody. I believe everybody has the mind of their own. You choose what you think it's real. But for this part, let's say everybody in the chat, say it's real. Play the what if. If you have to play as the what if game, great. But if you do believe in it, great. If it is real, something has to be causing it. Plain and simple. Something just doesn't do it just for the hell of it. Now, if you're in the religious world, if you're a true believer in religion, there's a belief that God's doing it. And God is making, and the question is, why would God do it? Maybe he wants you to wake up for something. Maybe he wants you to see something that's not there, or maybe there's a clue. I can't tell you that. My grandfather was a minister, but I didn't go to church like people did. But if you're in the religion world, that could be a good possibility on why. I mean, Anthony, this might sound weird, but in a lot of ways, people hear the word small miracles. God shows people in different ways. Jesus shows people in different ways. If you're a believer in the Mandela Effect, do you have a belief that maybe it can be from God?
No, I like the parallel dimension theory of it.
And we're going to get to that part too in a second. And if you believe it's a spiritual thing, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no one set reason on why this phenomenon happens. If you believe it's a religious side, go for it. I don't think it's either. I think I said this before. I think I was telling Anthony. I don't think God and Jesus are sitting at a table playing poker and say, "Hey, let's send a message. Let's take the monocle glass off of penny bags." I don't think. I don't think that. But it doesn't mean if you believe it's real that it is not from them. It's not. Okay. Now, if that's not it, then some people say we're living in a matrix. Now, if you think about that, if we are living in a matrix, since we're living in a computer simulation, there's always glitches in the matrix. So that would make sense on why we having these different memories if we're in a matrix. Now, I don't think we're in a matrix for me. But some of you in the chat might think we must be living in a matrix, living in this crazy world with everything that happens to us. But Anthony, what are your beliefs on thinking maybe we're living in a matrix and maybe that's what's causing the Mandela effect?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I think God created everything. That's just my belief, being Catholic. But I do believe there are parallel dimensions and multiple universes and multiple timelines. And it does sound logical that if they crossed over at a certain point in our lives and we seen it one way and somebody else seen it another way, that would be logical, no?
Like here's Jellyhead is from the Mandela Effect community. When a change happens, you then take an update. Please don't see them at the same time. And what he's talking about is, there's different beliefs that people wake up to Mandela Effect at different times in their life. And what that means is there's a belief that you might not have one memory change. What you remember is what billions of people remember, but somehow the very next day you wake up, you have this update where things aren't the same as you remember. Your memory starts to change, and some people have stories that they have seen colors, they've seen lights, certain things. And of course there's, some people say, well, no, you probably saw a UFO, you probably saw an alien, you're thinking, it doesn't matter. But that's a belief that people take updates. So, and that's the weirdest thing. That's one of the weird things. A lot of people say that, but people within the community don't like it when you don't have the same memory as them. And it's like, well, if you're saying that people take updates at different times, then you can't get mad.
You can't have the same memory
if they don't have the same memory. How can you get mad if you believe in that? So if that's the belief that you have, then you can't be mad at people for not having the same exact memory as you. You could just easily say, well, he hasn't received the update yet. Right. And it's weird hearing the update because I related to Matrix because, are we talking about updates like God giving you an update? You know what I mean? And all that. Now, before we get to the multiverse, the third one is time travel. Okay. For example, you watch Back to the Future movie. Now, Back to the Future actually has, in the Mandela Effect community, a lot of Mandela effects within that movie about the color of the van, the Volkswagen symbol. And when we go back to the 50 charts, it probably shows. So there's a lot of things. And of course, they say that the movie predicted what happened in New York. I'm not going to get into that topic at all because we'll get drilled down in a second. But so in Back to the Future, you go back in time, you change something, and then your thing starts to change. And when you get back in time, things are changing, are different. Now think about it. If somebody goes back in time, maybe not Marty, but like the parents, when he goes back, the parents are better, they're healthy. And what if that happens and that the parents part, then you start, can it creak in of your old life before a time travel line has changed for you in the future? If you believe in time travel, some people do, some people don't. Some people say you can't time travel. But say if you did believe in time travel and some people are going back, changing certain things, and your memory is changing to the new timeline, I could see where the old timeline leaks into here, because how much can a brain handle? You know what I mean? Can a brain handle multiple time changes? Or is it just change? Boom.
Well, what about every time Earth, because Earth sits in the upper 3.5 dimension of space. That's why we see in 3D right now, right? Back in the day, Earth sat in the 2nd dimension of space. That's why some animals like alligators, for example, see in 2D, right? That's why they got to run zigzag to see their prey today. So what if every time Earth shifts into another dimensional pattern, well, so do the timelines. And that's when we get a little crossover and bleed, and that changes everything. Yeah. Could that be possible?
Yeah. I think for me, my second most popular theory is the time travel. I mean, that just for me, because for me, that makes sense. I mean, it just makes sense. If somehow time travel is possible, if it's making changes, I believe that the brain can't handle it at 100%, and then you slowly starts to leaking in what your original timeline was. It's, man, you can go down rabbit holes in this. I mean, if you really, really, and here we go. What's this? Like, they will lay down with the Lamb Bible, and we're gonna get into some Bible stuff too, Venom, because Bible stuff is not now. The fourth one, parallel universe, multiverse. They're both basically the same kind of a deal. A multiverse. We talked about that on your show yesterday about what if there's hundreds of you in a multiverse. There's a different version of you in every universe, and since there's so many of you in different, what if you're connecting somehow, getting an update of yourself in different multiverses, and your memory is changing a little bit because you're remembering something that you were on another multiverse, kind of like here in America, the Monopoly guy. Let's use penny bags. Right now, he has no monocle. But in the multiverse, that Pennybags does have a monocle. And your memory is that. For me, this is the number one. If the Mandela Effect is real, to me, it's because of a multiverse. That's my number one for me as a theory. It makes sense. And science theory says, depending on who you talk to, that the multiverse is a possibility. So basically, you're saying there is a chance, right? If that science is a possibility and time travel theory is a possibility. So if those two could be possibilities, how can somebody say that cannot be a reason?
But when it comes to time travel, do you think we can only go forward in time, or do you think we can go back and forward? I think we can only go forward if we were to time travel.
I never thought about that, because I'm
Because,
thinking,
like you said yesterday,
you only go
if
forward.
you went backwards, if you went backwards and changed something, right, it would mess everything up that already happened now. So maybe you can only go forward if you would change things if you went in the past.
That would make a lot more sense, because technically it's not changing so much in the brain because the future hasn't been written yet. So when you go in the future and see yourself and you go back, you're creating a whole new future that most people haven't had yet.
Right.
That's an interesting thing. But I wonder what happens to yourself. So like if you go in the future, saw yourself, you go back, and that person of you is slowly changing to what the timeline you're doing too. That's
right. I would assume you erase the future timeline to change if you've seen yourself, but you're changing it in real time.
Yeah. What does Jelly say? When you go to the past, you become part of the past. So in that past, you become present.
That's a good way to put it. That is.
There's so many different theories of time travel. I mean, you got the one version of, like, of course, the simple Back to the Future. You go back in time, whatever you do there changes the future. Now, if you think about the movie Terminator, time travel, the one soldier who time traveled to the future is technically the father of Connor, who was born to rise the war against the machine. So he wasn't born for somebody in the past. He was born for somebody in the past that went into the future that had. He traveled in the past and had some little fun time with the wife. But the question is, why is that thing? Well, something has to happen first to happen to that. So how could he even been born yet if the future person hasn't even been able to go back in time because the timeline hasn't been set? So that's a different theory of things to think about too. It's just, there's just so many. It is. But the multiverse makes sense, because what if you're, people talk about, you said this, Anthony, people who have near-death experiences, things their senses wakes up.
Oh yeah.
People who've seen UFOs have said when they see the real deal, I'm talking about not drawn, I'm talking about a real alien ship or something that causes them to wake up. People
change your whole life.
People who've seen a ghost for the first time have mentioned that their senses has gained up. What if your senses has heightened to a point where you're actually seeing some things from a multiverse side of you? from somewhere else? And what if your dreams? You talked about dreams of having abduction dreams in your dreams. Why can't a dream you're having is a memory from a multiverse part of it?
I was saying that yesterday. Maybe some of these dreams that you have that feel so vivid and so real, like you can feel pain in them, and you wake up and you got a mark on your arm. So maybe you were actually living in your dream. You were remembering another timeline that you were on. It's possible.
It's so weird. It's so weird. And the Mandela effect, in a lot of different ways, it shows up in more movies than you think. I'm trying to see here if I have a clip. I'm trying to find, because I had a clip. Oh, here we go. This was there's a movie called Moonfall, and I don't know if any of you guys seen the movie Moonfall. I love Moonfall. It's so fucking crazy. It's wacko. And I did a show with Connor and my brother one time, and I brought up that even in the movie Moonfall, they kind of brought up the Mandela effect. Let me see here. Let me see. Okay, here we go. So this is a clip about a song. Let me see. Let me get it bigger. Let me press play.
The lyrics are, I bless rains down in Africa.
What? No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
It makes even less sense.
Well, I should know because I karaoke'd it at my wedding.
Well, I must have missed that. I was in the zone, tearing it up on the dance floor.
You can't
Be
dance.
careful with the music.
Anyone ever tell you guys you're bigger like an old?
The reason I was just playing that is they're bringing it up in the movies because talk about a different song version of what somebody else
You
was
remember
remembering.
what he thought it was? What he thought the lyrics were? Because the lyrics are, I bless the rains down in Africa, right? Those were the
I'm
lyrics.
gonna
Of
type in
and he thought it was like kiss the rains in Africa or something.
Mandela effect. What's the name of that song again? Rays
Rains in Africa.
in. Maybe it's in my top 50. There is what the word's supposed to be. Somebody in the chat. There's a lot of you. There's some of the Mandela effect people I saw in the chat. Please put in on what is the actual words they believe it's said in the Mandela effect community. If somebody could put that in there, I appreciate it. Now let's go back to the 50 for a second. Let's
It's
check out some
the
of
actual words are I bless the rains down in Africa. Those
Here
are
we
the
go.
actual words.
Toto, yeah. I bless the rains down, but
And he thought I kiss the rains down in Africa, I think.
well, you know what? Let me pull that back up again. Let's hear it again. Let me get it. Okay, hold on. Let me find it. I accidentally exited it out, but I'll bring it back. Okay, here we go. Okay, let me share the screen again. We'll see what he says.
I'm trying to look.
Here we go.
The lyrics are, I bless rains down in Africa.
What? No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
It makes even less sense.
Oh, did I forward it too much where he said in the
Yeah, you got
beginning?
to get the very beginning where he's singing.
Yeah, let me see here.
Let's listen to this.
What does it even mean to miss the rains down in Africa?
I miss the rains down in Africa, he said.
I bless rains down in Africa.
What?
So it's missed. Okay.
Yeah, he thought it was I miss rains down in Africa. I miss.
Yep.
But it's I Kiss. And the name of that song is Africa. Great song.
It's their best song, in my opinion. In my opinion, everybody has different opinions what the best song of that band. I like to hold the line, and okay, let's go back to the 50 here. Okay, let's go here. Let's go. Okay, Curious George Tell was never there. Are you freaking out? So
What?
right now, Curious George has a tell, but a lot of people remember Curious George not having a tell. Again, for me, I never had a Curious George book. I never had children's books as a kid, so I can't tell you for a fact on what do I remember, a tell or no tell. Anthony, have you ever read the books of Curious George?
No, but I remember seeing them with my nieces and nephews. I remember it with a tail myself.
Well, monkeys have monkeys have tails. I know monkeys have tails, but a lot of people remember Curious George not having a tail. Like I said, I never read the book. So I can't tell you. Okay, here's a good one. Sex in the City, Sex and the City. Now, I've actually grew up with HBO. Now I'm not going to sit here and tell you. My wife watched every episode of Sex in the City, but
My wife did.
but I never did. But I always thought the show was called Sex in the City. I mean, it sounds familiar. It looks familiar.
That's what I thought it was.
More. No, it's called Sex and the City.
Uh-huh.
But I know a lot of people in the community remember that Sex in the City. But like I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've seen a few episodes because the wife watched it, but I was never a diehard Sex in the City fan. But as of right now, it's called Sex and the City. But if you're going to ask me, I always thought I remembered Sex in the City. That sounds more real.
I should know this because my wife and her girlfriend, I had to sit through every single episode of this with them. It was a nightmare. But yeah, I thought it was Sex in the City myself, not Sex and the City. I thought it was Sex in the City.
Okay, and then Febreze, you might use it. That's a spelling word, and for me, I'm not. I don't really use Febreze. I can't tell you one or the other what it used to be.
I got one upstairs if you want to see what it looks like now.
Well, it should say now. It should say you might use the stuff every day, but honest, you thought it was Febreze with the double E, didn't you? But there's only one single E in it.
Let's check. I'll go get it.
So he's checking that out. While he's checking that out, here was I'm trying to find it here. I'm taking this one off while he finds that.
I got it. Yeah, 1E.
So 1E. So some people remember it with 2 E's. Like I said, I never used the product that much. I'm not able to tell you. Yeah, and here's a fact that nobody talked about. This is the one that I've actually talked about, where I love Cheech and Chong. And when I was talking about Cheech and Chong, that I thought I knew his jacket inside out, but the number 13 just appears now on his jacket. Now, it could always been there, like I said. But for me, I remember never having a 13 on his jacket. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was staring at his jacket through the whole movie. But it was a part where I felt like for me that 13 was popping up on movies now a lot more. 13. Because like another movie, oh, I love that scene, the cocaine scene.
Best scene right there.
Yeah, I love that cocaine scene because there was another movie that was strange to me that I'm trying to see if I have a clip for it. Here we go. Let me see here. I got something here. Oh, here we go. What I mean by 13s, it seemed like all of a sudden 13s were showing up in movies for me. And I got a couple here for you guys to see. In the movie, I grew up on the movie Meatballs.
Great movie.
I grew up on Meatballs. I love Meatballs. Now, in this whole movie of Meatballs,
it's there, the 13.
Well, in the whole movie Meatballs, he wore Hawaii shirts, except when there's a dance party where he wore a suit. He wore Hawaii shirts. Somehow, in the middle of this movie now, during the hot dog scene where people are wearing T-shirts and stuff, he's wearing a sweater with a 13 on it. I never remember the 13 being there. So this is the part I'm talking about where I thought 13s are now.
I don't remember that either.
Watch. Look at that.
This is the year that Fink beats the stomach.
T-shirts, 13 sweater.
The winner!
Now, 13. And then another movie I watched, one of my favorite sports movies of all time, is Hoosiers. I fucking love the Hoosiers. The guy who did the granny shot is wearing a 13 on his shirt, and I always thought he wore a 12.
That's so strange.
So, like I said, guys, this is my personal one.
And you will make your second shot.
I changed the music. I changed the music because the original music was copyrighted. The original music was copyrighted, so that was not the original music. So I did not change the Mandela effect for you guys on purpose. I changed it so I could play the clip. But now he's wearing a 13. I changed the music. So those are like some personal ones that nobody talk about, where I started to see 13s everywhere, like 13 down in Hoosiers, 13 Meatballs in the middle of a hot dog contest, where I've seen that movie so many times. I love that movie. I don't remember a red sweater with a 13 on it. And then I watched Cheech and Chong. He has a 13 on there. So that was some
strange,
like personal ones. Now, before the show started, I was showing Anthony one of my favorite YouTube channels. There's three. If you're going to study the Mandela effect, there's 3 channels that I watch. Mandela Affected. I love the guy. He's from the UK, and I love. He doesn't put up with shit with people. He tells you what he thinks, that he knows. He does his research. He does his research. And there's 2 other people. There's a girl named Maybe Mandela. Fantastic channel, good voice, and Hazel Fever. And I was showing Anthony before the show starts, and we're both had to do some little fast research. He did one on Smoking the Bandit, and we'll play a couple.
The movie has great music, and one of the songs by Jerry Reed in the movie is called Eastbound and Down. We've listened to this song many times, and one of the things that I noticed in the movie was now there are 2 different versions of this song. The first version that I remember is Eastbound and Down, and the other version is Westbound and Down.
No way.
Westbound and Down.
And Anthony and I were talking behind the scenes. We're trying to research this. Now, first of all, Sally Field, there is actually a Mandela effect with her name, Field, on how it was spelled. But both of us don't remember ever being a second song called West Sounding Sound, whatever.
No way. It's Eastbound and Down.
Yes, Beethoven, maybe Mandela. Reina, she is fantastic. Her voice is fantastic. I'll play a video from her channel. I'll get to her channel. Sally Fields, yeah. Yeah, Sally Field supposedly spelt differently, but and then there's another one in this movie. He discovered that you're telling me you remember it differently. Yeah, you made a good point. Let me see if I can find it.
What, the license plate?
Yes. Let's see.
Come here, son.
Was it talked about?
You're looking tired, boy. Rest yourself.
Okay, Dizzy.
Nah, a lady in a wedding gown.
Well, oh, right here. Here we go.
Sir, Georgia plates. Ban 1. BAN-ONE.
Why that is major is a lot of people remember it saying bandit, not ban 1.
Well, in that clip, he spells it as BAND-ONE, and then they show you the plate that says BANONE. But I also remember there being a black license plate on the front with cream letters that said bandit on that car, is how I remember it.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. We're going to do what they can't be done. But when was there ever a song called
Westbound and Down? Never,
Westbound
right?
and Down. Oh, there's Hazel right there.
Hi, Hazel.
It makes you think, right? I mean, the song.
I'll tell you what, we gotta get Lee up here to play Eastbound and Down. That's what we need.
And I'm gonna put his channel, guys, in the chat because he's got a lot of good material and he does it the right way. He just tells you what he thinks. He does his research. He has fun doing it. But I mean, he's got stuff.
He's got it on there too. He's got the Smokey and the Bandit one up there too.
Yeah, that's his.
Oh,
that's
okay.
the one I just showed. It's his. He's got a lot of Back to the Future, which we talked about. I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff that makes you think. You don't have to sit here and say every single one of these is a Mandela effect for you. No, your memory is your memory, but it makes you think. And that's what I like. It challenges you. I mean, there's so many good ones in Forrest Gump. And then another good channel is, like I said, if you want to study the Mandela effect the right way with the good channels, the people that you could trust, is Maybe It's Mandela. Let me show you hers, Raina. She's great. She does a lot of music. I want to play some of her stuff, but I know with music, it's so copyrighted. But like, here's Titanic, Heart of the Ocean. Maybe we'll go here.
Video. I'm
listen to her voice. It's soothing.
The world, which is crazy. I'm gonna link it below so you can check it out. But I went to go look at the one that's like, paint me or draw me like one of your French girls, and I saw the scene with the heart. It's not really a heart. I don't know if anyone's reported it. I looked it up on Twitter. I found one post about it saying that it is the shape of a pillowed pear. Back in 2020, it definitely doesn't look like a heart anymore. I had this when the Titanic movies came out, and it was supposed to be an exact replica, and it was a heart. It's no longer a heart. That's a clip from the movie. It just looks so weird. So I remember it more like,
that's how I remember it, like a heart.
Just
a
little divot to make it look like a heart. So, but not anymore. And I don't even know. I guess Celine Dion owns it, the original, but then she doesn't. So I have no idea. But here's pictures of her wearing what actually looks like a heart, but it's not the actual.
It makes you think, right? It makes you think. It's and there's no right or wrong answers for any of it. It's for me, the funniest thing about the Mandela effect for me are movies, because I grew up on movies. I watch a lot of movies. But like I said, it doesn't mean we're all gonna have the same memory. I'm gonna tell you two of the most famous Mandela effects that deals with Star Wars. Luke, I am your father. No, I am your father. And C-3PO having a silver leg, but he always had all gold legs. Now, for me being a Star Wars nut, I'll tell you that for me, I remember Luke, I am your father, but for C-3PO, I always remember the silver leg being there. And those two are one of the two most majors, but one I remember, the other one I remember with the silver leg. So it doesn't mean everything you hear is going to be the same for everybody. It's not. I just show you two of the most famous now.
Chrome leg, gold leg.
Oh yeah.
C-3PO.
Oh yeah. I got it. That one's all gold.
Yeah,
but then,
all gold.
But see here in this toy, see, I have a toy too. Now I have a big one upstairs.
So
but in this toy,
I got the big one right. I got the big one right here.
See, this one, he does have a silver leg.
This is the one from 89.
And that's all gold.
All
and here
gold.
I got a toy with the silver leg.
But that one with the silver leg, that's the one when they had to take them all apart and put them back together. Remember?
Yeah, so I'm trying to my lunch pail fell down. I have a Star Wars lunch pail. You guys can see I'm a Star Wars nerd.
My son made me this. This is what fell down. He made this in wood shop.
So guys, what I want you guys to get through today is I'm not here to push any beliefs on you. I believe something is changing something. I don't know what it is. I feel like for me, my theory is I'm a big, huge believer in the multiverse. I think the multiverse is real. Of course, can I prove it? No. How can I prove it? And I feel like if there is changes, it's because of that. But remember, not everybody's memory is the same. And if somebody's going to argue with you saying it is a change or not, go away. You know, there's people on YouTube that's this is going to sound weird. You know, they push changes about the Bible being changed, and they're mean about saying it has changed. But some of these people have never read a Bible in their life. To me, listen, if you've never read the Bible in your life, you can talk about some of the changes you've heard, but you cannot physically claim there's a change if you never read it. You know what I mean? And all that. And I've been seeing so many young people saying that one of their biggest Mandela effects is Nelson Mandela. And I'm like, listen, when he supposedly died, it was in the 80s. You weren't even born. I'm sorry. I don't know how you can have a memory of Nelson Mandela dying if you weren't born yet, you know? And like, I was so young in the 80s. I was probably like 8 or 7 when he supposedly died. Listen, I'd be lying to you to say I watched the news at 7 years old. First of all, in the early 80s, not everybody had cable, and news channels weren't 24 hours. Nope. All I'm trying to say here is be honest with yourself. Be honest on the changes that you know about. You don't need to impress anybody. You don't have to match everybody's Mandela for Mandela. You heard some people in the chat that said that some people take an update. If you believe in that, maybe that person has not taken the update yet. If you're in that camp of getting updates, it is so fascinating. You could go in so many rabbit holes in this, because if you do believe in it, what is it? What's causing it? Is it God? For you, might be. Some of you might say time travel. Some of you might believe we're in a matrix. Listen, we live in a weird world. Anthony, you know this weird world. What if it took a UFO alien ship for you to see, to open your mind where your senses are more open now, or a near-death experience that your senses, or a medium like a person who's seen a ghost? Maybe your senses are growing, and maybe that's where the update are coming in. Maybe it's not like technically a matrix update. Maybe that we've talked about so many of this in so many other communities that's how we always say everything can be interconnected. Because what if you and I doing so much working with Amber's Paraworld, she's a medium, working with her, getting our senses more in tune. What if our senses get such in tune that we are in tune with the multiverse, with these other things that we're finally receiving an update? Maybe that's a way we're getting an update. It's weird when you hear the word update, because you're thinking computers, right? You're thinking matrix computers. But But an update is just another, maybe a better word to say that we're just more in tune.
I'll tell you
we're
one thing.
realizing we're different.
After I had my near-death experience, man, I wasn't afraid of death anymore because now I know that there's something after we pass away. We go somewhere else. It's fact. It's fact.
What if, Anthony, you believe maybe something like if something is changed on you? I always say research that change. If you really truly believe that something has changed on you, I've always say research it, because maybe there's, I don't know, this might sound weird. There's a private message for you, and you know for sure, it doesn't matter if anybody else has the same memory change, but maybe something is telling you to research something. I don't know if you believe in that camp at all, that
it's possible.
Maybe there's a message for you.
I wish I knew what it was.
That's exactly, wish what it was. And there are some people that go a little bit too far, and I'm going to end this in a few minutes. There are some people, but there are certain channels. There's a Mandela Effect con they do online. The part that I turn off sometimes when they go a little bit too far, where when one lady said, I'm not gonna say her name, said, I was so hungry, and I imagined there's going to be this food in my refrigerator, and she opened up and the food was there. That's not Mandela Effect, okay? That's hocus pocus magic thing, and I hate when they try to mix too much of magical stuff within.
How about this? Did this ever happen to anybody in the chat? When I got disabled and I had like no money coming in for a while, right? I was waiting for my pension and everything, and I needed $1,000 like really bad. I had bills to pay and everything, right? And I was like, oh man, I really need $1,000. This is crazy. How the hell am I going to get it? And a day later, a check came in the mail from my union for $1,118 that I was not expecting.
That's awesome. And
it's almost as if I willed it to happen.
You willed it.
And I'm sure that's happened to other people.
I just don't want. What I meant is that is not technically a Mandela Effect. That's a miracle. That's something.
Yeah,
that's
a miracle.
Something. That's what I was getting at. Not, it's like paranormal can mean so many different things, and sometimes they try to add this to this. I'm going to add this to this word. Listen, Mandela Effect is something that's changed on you, something that a memory has different. It's not magical where you're going to make magical food appear and stuff. That's getting more towards manifesting. Exactly. Manifesting.
That's right. Yep.
That's
real deal.
And some people were mixing the manifesting with Mandela Effect. And that's where I'm like, you lost me. I'm not, let's not go. You want to talk about manifesting? Yes, but don't say manifesting is the Mandela Effect, because then you're diluting. You're diluting the word, and then people are going to start saying, oh, they're fucking crazy. Look, they think they're manifesting magical stuff in front of you. It's things that have changed around you. So it is supernatural. Everything is supernatural. Yeah, we are living in a supernatural world. And that's what's so amazing, so fun about everything, Anthony. Like, we just don't know. That's the excitement. That's where I used to call my show Journey into the Unknown, because it is the unknown. It is the unknown. And that's what we're all here. We're all here because we know, last thing, we know we're not going to get the truth from the news, CNN, Fox News. We're never going to get the truth from any of this. Where we're going to learn the truth is from each other. Our experiences, everybody here, everybody in the chat, everybody who's watching, we're going to get the truth within ourselves.
Yep.
We're not going to get the fuck. Hey, we know the government's going to come out with the truth about Bigfoots and UFOs. They're definitely never
only a matter of time.
Mandela Effect.
Only a matter of time.
You think they're going to have a conference on a Mandela Effect in the government? You're fucking crazy. So in the Mandela Effect, we need each other on this one.
True.
So beyond that, guys, I got to get going. I want to appreciate Anthony for jumping on. And Brown Dwarf, for being there. I forgot. I can't do a show tomorrow. I forgot. My kids are off tomorrow. There's some plans because Brown Dwarf's coming on my channel Monday. Brown Dwarf will be on Monday with us. That'll be fun. We'll get into some cryptids and all that. That'll be for Monday. Unfortunately, I forgot my kids are off tomorrow. And there's we're actually, it's going to sound weird. We're going to a gym going to a gym to do some stuff. But beyond that, guys, Anthony, it's always fun. This is a topic that we could go in so many different directions, so many wormholes, but it is fun to talk about. And everybody today was fantastic in the chat. I'm just so awesome.
Chat's always awesome.
Beyond that, guys, I'm going to end this show. See you guys on Monday. And Anthony has a show this Sunday on Identify S4 channel. Somebody could put his link in the comment. His link is also in the description. So go to his channel. What's your topic for Sunday?
UFOs over Staten Island.
UFOs over Staten Island. If you're on the East Coast or any coast, that's going to be interesting because I'll tell you guys one thing right now about Anthony. He does his research. Before he puts anything out, he looks at it, makes sure it's something else. Anthony does his work. Beyond that, I'll see you guys later.